Alright, so what I'm going to tie here is a little Mysis Shrimp imitation. And what I have in the vise is an Umpqua size 18U202. Now I don't normally do it, but I have bent this one straight. Just so that I can tie it and the video will come out right, because otherwise the hook curves a little bit and it looks like I'm doing some funky stuff with the tying. So there's that. Or something comparable anyway, as far as the hook is concerned. The thread I'm using here is sheer 14-aught in white. And I'm going to start my thread right about in the middle of the hook shank. Trim out that tag, and I'm just going to wind it back until I get to about the barb. Now I do have this sitting kind of cattywampus there, and that's just to help with the first part of the tying. We can move it back in the second part. So next what I need is some 10-pound monofilament, and I've got a 2-inch piece here or so, and I'm just gonna kind of give it the old crossover. And we don't have to get super crazy here. I'm going to advance my thread towards the eye. I'm going to collect everything here. I'm going to come in and trim it out so that I have about, a quarter of an inch or so on both sides. Next, I'm going to grab my lighter and give them the old torch. This is going to be the eyes for this pattern. And super concentration there so you don't mess them up too bad. There we go. Next, I'm going to take a black Sharpie and color this. The representation of this is pretty good. Because of the weight that's going to be added to the back, it is going to flip over on you. So make sure you keep this guy moving, so it looks get a triggered strike, in other words. I'm going to undo my thread and get back up to behind the eye, and then next I'm going to grab a I'm stuck here. Sorry, I thought I had that ready and I didn't. Next I'm going to grab, 4-inch, 5-inch piece of UV pearl crystal flash. I also will do this in purple. I'm going to trim them in half so that I have 2 strands. I'm going to slide it up underneath my thread. I'm going to kind of even them out just a little bit. Put a couple wraps in the back. Put a couple in the front. Now I'm going to take everything from the front, draw it over the shank between the eyes, put these in front. Now when you do this, you want to kind of collect everything so that they're all together. And I'm just going to go just barely down into the bend, so we don't overcrowd that bend and the throat there. Alright, cool. Next I want to take some white ostrich hurl. And if your hurl's long enough and thin enough, you can do this in one, you can do it in 2 pieces. If not, you may have to do it a couple times. I'm going to start with the butt section and trim off the stem part. I'm just going to take these right on top of the hook shank. I'm going to tie them in, come back behind the eyes, lock all that down, and just take my thread back to where I started. And I'm going to gather these two and palmer them forward at the same time. And if you want to, you can kind of come up and over in between the eyes, if that suits you, or you can just jump to the back. I think either way is okay, to be honest. So I'm just kind of showing you some different profile angles there. And I'm just going to take it back into my thread. Uh-oh. I caught my thread. Well, don't do that. There we go. If your hurl starts getting wonky on you, what you can do is take your bead and push it forward, or to the back, I should say, to try to get everything to push together and line up. It's actually a pretty good little tool to have on this fly if you really want it loaded. There we go. This part can be a little tedious, so take your time with it. Alright, and once I get back to my thread, cross over a couple of times, and then I'm just going to wrap it to the back just a little ways, and then back forward. And then I can take these guys out. If you got a little extra there, you can trim it off. And we're going to whip finish here for the front half. And I'll whip finish this going down towards the bead. It's all going to be covered and everything else. And you don't need a lot there because there's going to be glue there. You can add super glue here if you want. Next, I'm going to take my bead and run it up right into that hurl. So this is going to be like the little hot spot. Some people say that it's the look of a pregnant mysis, or I think people call it several different things. Sometimes they say it's like it's the guts of it or whatever. I just call it the hot spot. Next, I'm just going to attach my thread and work it up. Get right back to behind the eye again, or behind the bead, sorry. And again, if your hurl's long enough, you can use the same two pieces. If not, just get a couple new pieces and tie that on. And we'll trim out the little tips here. Maybe. There we go. Then we're going to take our thread back down to the eye. And we're going to palmer these guys down to the thread once more. Try to keep those stems together. A lot of the times they want to separate. The closer you can keep those stems together, just the more full it looks, I guess. There we go. And then just before I get to the eyes, because I don't want to crowd it, I'll stop and come over. But this time what I'll do is I kind of come into the hurl a little bit so that I capture just a little bit of it. It's not wanting to hold. There we go. Kind of like so. So it gives this little tail, as it were, right there. And then come in and snap those off and whip finish again. And again, I'll just put about 3 or so in. This is all going to get glued. So you have something that looks about like that. Next, I just need a nylon brush. and you need to get it damp. I actually lick this one. That's all I do with this one. So I just lick the bristles. Use a little sponge or something, and I'll come in and just grab that hurl and brush it down. You can brush it forward if you need to, or back to get that tail, kind of that tail look going. Alright. And that way it doesn't add too much water to the hurl. Next, I'm going to grab my Solar Res, and I'll start up here at the front, and I'm just going to kind of methodically run some Solar Res throughout the back, and I'll kind of slide it off the back just like that. Invert the fly. Sorry, I know I went out of camera there. Trying to get up there. Sorry. Total professional job here. But I'll invert the fly so that Solar Res doesn't run into the hurl. And then I can shoot it with the torch. So now I flip it down, and it's all the way at the bottom again. Sorry, I'm not going to do that again, but I wanted to kind of show you what I was doing there. And then, if I need to, I'll add just a little bit more. You don't want to have too much. I mean, the more of this you add, the heavier it's going to be. Just like that. And check your eye. Get a little close on this one. There we go. Luckily, that Solar Res kind of stays off of it a little bit. There we go. There we go. Well, I sacrificed just a little bit of Solar Res to make sure the eye was clean. Hey, all's fair in love and fly tying, I suppose. Okay, now this fly is done except for this this flash right up front. And the way I tackle that actually is I'm going to turn this guy around, and I will collect all of this crystal flash. And what I do is I bend it with the shape of the hook down to the hook point. No, you stay in there. Probably close the throat on this one just a fuzz more than I'd like, but you'll get the idea. So I'm having a hard time positioning this in front of the camera like that. Normally it's not that big of a deal. There we go. So I'm kind of folding that crystal flash over like that, and then I will sneak my scissors in just below the point and trim away. Point of the hook. And there you go. So anyway, that's my my version of the Mysis Shrimp with the hot spot. It's a cool little pattern to tie. Nothing super fancy. Get some good techniques in there. So have fun with it. If you like the video, always happy to have you subscribe. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, and share it. Also, you can check out if you're new to fly tying anyway, or experienced, I guess, for that matter, and want to help out some beginners. You can check us out at Fly Tying for Beginners over on Facebook. Answer the questions, and that's your ticket in. So other than that, I hope you enjoyed the pattern. Happy tying, and we'll see you next time, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.